Hey garden friends, welcome everybody. My name's Kevin, this is Field Trip, and today we're gonna be talking all about growing massive heads of cabbage. I love growing cabbage, love eating cabbage. It's very nutritious, super good for you. A lot of health benefits to it. Actually, I have a coworker, I know we're all used to eating the head of the cabbage, which is delicious, but I have a coworker who likes to actually even have his wife help him cook up even the outer leaves, those bigger shade leaves that first emerge. Even those are edible as well. So it's just a wonderful plant. It produces heavily. It can grow in cooler climates, especially if like in a place like Alaska where it's cool but also super sunny in the summer. They get massive. I think a world record cabbage is like 138 pounds, give or take a few ounces. So they get big, or they can get big. And as you can see, the ones here, we're up here in Northern California. We planted these ones back last fall. I think maybe late October, early November. It's now beginning of March. We've been pulling some of them out. You can see behind me a lot of our brassicas have come out. These are in the family Cruciferae, which I think is Latin for the word cross, because the flowers are cross-shaped. And they are just a wonderful plant. I think humans have cultivated them, give or take, about 4,000 years. So about 4,000 years ago is when humans figured out the glory that is cabbage growing and cultivation. And I bet those first folks were probably pretty stoked when they ate a cabbage. It probably tasted great and made them feel really good. So we love growing it here. We've grown several rows of it. We've grown Savoy Ace. I think this is a Copenhagen. We have the red acre cabbage as well, which looks kind of purple. But for us, they grow great. So today we're talking all about how you can grow massive cabbage at your home. So one of the main tricks to growing cabbage is first start in an area that has full, bright, blasting sun. Even though they're a cool season plant, they actually require a lot of sunshine to really thrive and take off. So out here in the garden, we get full sun, and that's your first start. Once you got an area of full sun, you want to make sure that you amend your soil, because you want to plant them in really rich, loose, well-draining soil that is fertile. We add a lot of compost. We do a lot of hand cultivation before we plant these. And so when we planted these in here, the rows were groomed, the soil was nice and light and fluffy, and we had added some nutrition as well. We fertilize all of our plants here in the veggie garden and out in the orchard with organic fertilizers. I believe these were fed with like an all-purpose or tomato vegetable food from Evie Stone Organics, and it works great for us. It's like a little granulized kind of powdery material that you kind of sprinkle in and mix into the soil and water it in. It works great. You could also use an organic liquid fertilizer as well, or both even. So for us, really feed the soil, feed the plant. When we first got these into seedlings, it's really important to protect them. Just like we like to eat them and enjoy them, so do all the little bugs. And so when they're really young as a seedling, for me, that's when they kind of appear to be the most vulnerable. And so that's when it's a great time to get in there and protect them a little bit. So slugs, snails, you know, even little earwigs and things like that, they can do damage to these plants early on, whether it's eating the foliage, the stem, or even part of the roots. So we like to protect them. We used basically some organic slug bait, some sluggo around them those first few weeks. We didn't do it the whole time through, just when they first got planted, because that's, like I said, that's when they're first, probably their most vulnerable. So we protected them from all the creepy crawlers. That sluggo is a really good granule, organic, safe for us, safe for our pets, but not safe if you're an insect. Also, caterpillars. They can do damage, especially young plant, old plant, whatever. They can really do some damage. So sometimes we see these little white moths, little butterflies flying around. Actually, little white butterflies flying around. They're cute, but they land, they lay their eggs. Their eggs hatch, and this little green caterpillar comes out called the cabbage looper. And they love to feed, just like the hungry little caterpillar, the book my son loves to read. When they sprout and start to, a single egg lay on a leaf, it hatches, and then it starts just going to town. And so we don't want that, especially when the plants are really young and there's not much there for them to eat. Right now they can eat a little bit, and you can see how big this thing is. They're massive. They're like the size of a basketball. And so we're gonna do some harvesting today and hook up some friends of the garden with these. But protect them from caterpillars. How we did that is we sprayed them when they were young with a biological control. It's organic certified. It's called BT, Bacillus thuringiensis. It's a bacterium. You spray it on the plant. Caterpillars do not like it when they bite into that and it gets into their system. It really messes up their digestive system, and then they just die. And so that's one way. I didn't spray them with that all the way through, not because it's bad for us, but just because I don't want to waste my money and waste my time spraying a plant that doesn't really need it. So we really just did it the first few weeks. Let's see what we also look for aphids, anything like that might get in there, some sap sucking insects. Luckily for us, we haven't had that issue with them. Although I have noticed some that I'm pulling out. as I'm harvesting. I'm noticing now that it's warming up, especially on the red cabbage. There are some little aphid populations starting to spring up. I think it's the season is turning. It's getting a little warmer. It's still a little, there's a little moisture out, and so it's perfect for them to get in there and bite into it. So when the plant is young, that can do a lot of damage, or even if it's halfway through its life. Right now, they're pretty much done, so a little bit of aphid I could live with, but honestly, I like to get on them quick, so when we do see the aphids or whitefly and that nature, we spray it with neem oil, or you can use a horticultural oil. Even insecticidal soaps can be helpful to get rid of some of those sap-sucking insects. You just spray it under there. Really, the trick is finding them and just kind of noticing them early on, because if you get to them early, you can kind of correct that problem before it gets out of hand, because the aphids, they reproduce and they can multiply so quickly. Actually, a lot of times it's actually one of the few insects that can clone itself. They actually are oftentimes born pregnant. So a female can kind of clone herself, and they actually give birth to live aphids in some situations, which is pretty incredible. And then when they're born, they're already pregnant, and then they can give birth in another 2 weeks. So their populations can multiply very quickly. So basically just be observant. And so for us, we really haven't had that many problems with bugs this fall, winter, and now it's kind of almost towards spring. We've been really lucky, but it's just something you want to keep an eye out for. So rich soil, full sun, protect them from the creepy crawlies, the slugs, snails, caterpillars, any aphid problems. Protect them, as I mentioned, and you're really gonna be off and running. They like to stay evenly moist, so we grow them in the cool season, so hopefully it rains a little bit, but oftentimes you might have weeks where it doesn't rain, so we have drip tape, drip tubes in here, because we don't want to waste any water with the sprinkler system. So we like to get water right to their root system, right where it's at, and so that we don't waste a single drop. And so I recommend growing them with a drip system as well. It just really helps, and especially if it's on a timer, it can be really helpful and save you a lot of time. So that way you're not flooding out your garden or letting it go too dry. You want to keep them evenly moist. And then really it's all about harvest time. So once you've got a nice and healthy head, you're going to notice that over time that the cabbage head kind of fills in and gets nice and solid and firm. And it's really going to reach a point where it's not really going to want to grow anymore. And if you just wait, then that head will kind of start to bolt, and then you'll start to see it blossom. So you really want to get to it before too long. Like right now, it's getting pretty warm. These ones have been in all season. So if I leave them here too long, then they're not going to be great. They're going to bolt, and then they won't be fun for us. So now it's time to harvest and enjoy. You can eat cabbage cooked. You can eat it fresh, coleslaw, cabbage rolls. I had a student take some home. They cut it into nice, thick, like steaks, and seasoned it, and cooked it like grilled it up like a steak, and then ate it. And he said it was amazing. So actually, I'm pretty curious to try cooking it in different ways that I haven't done before. As many of you may know, it's that time of year, so hopefully St. Patty's Day is right around that corner. So I'm thinking some corned beef and cabbage is going to be a great way to celebrate our harvest this year. I don't know about you, but it's time to eat. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe, all that other good stuff. We'd love to have you back for more. I really appreciate any and every person who's ever watched a video, because it's just awesome to share the love of gardening and growing with as many people as possible, and I hope you're doing that as well. Until next time, garden friends, happy gardening to you, and please never stop growing.